Welcome back. Today we're going to be replacing an Xbox Series X HDMI port. As you see in the picture or in the video, the HDMI port needs to be replaced. So we're going to be, I disassembled it already. We're going to be quickly removing it and replacing it with a brand new one. The way I do this is by turning this board over. Having it ready for the removal. You guys can see that? Yes. Hopefully that's a little better. And so we get our heat gun. And start applying heat on the board. Again, my temperature today is 860 Fahrenheit. Again, every machine is different, so some of them are a little colder or hotter than others. Just gotta know your machine and practice. And distance also matters. How close and how far you hold the nozzle from the board itself. So I'm just applying heat over the holes here with solder. As soon as you start seeing it melt, and it's almost ready to pull out, to extract, which is about now. I'm not pulling on the HDMI port itself. It should fall gently. There we go. So now we use this tool here. And we could use some solder wick here, but I find it a lot faster with this. Never had any issues. You see how clean that turns out. So I'm gonna wait a little bit to for the board to cool. There's the old port. I'm going to prepare the new one. Hopefully this helps someone out there that's is brave enough to replace the HDMI port. You just got to be very careful, take your time. And if you don't want to do it yourself, then you could also call us or send it to us. Our website is wayayeo.org, WAYAYEO.org. You can simply Google us. So this is the other side of the board where we just remove the port. I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to clean up those pads. Mix it with mix some solder with mechanic solder. This solder is has lead in it, so it'll melt a lot faster, so it's easier to work with. So we're going to be using this solder here, applying some solder so that it melts faster, and it also it's a better bond. That looks good. So this is the new port here. Get it in place. And now that it's in place, add a little more flux. So now we come back and touch those pins. I'm going to turn on my fume extractor here. So all I'm doing is just touching these pins so that the solder flows through the pins and they make good contact. Just pretty much soldering the pins. Just soldering iron. I can add a little bit of solder, but it's not necessary. We're going to come back and check them after we solder the underneath these pads here. This from the other side. And the way I do that is by that's good. The way I do that is by adding a little bit of flux. So when we heat it up, the solder flows through. That's what we want. We want those strong points because that's the only thing that's holding pretty much the port to the board. Temperature on the soldering iron is 340C. I haven't figured out how to, there's a new soldering iron, how to set it to Fahrenheit. It might be a little too hot, but it works for this because we want a lot of heat here. Now I'm just putting enough solder paste, enough solder here so that when I come back with the heat, then it'll flow right through. And that should be good enough. Now we're not done yet, okay? So now we start hitting those individual holes here. See how the solder is now just falling in there basically? That's what we want. Now we gotta heat it up enough so that it flows all the way through, but not that much so that the port falls again. This has happened to me when I first started, especially in these particular consoles. The Xbox S's and other consoles are a lot easier to work with, but these you just gotta be careful not to heat it up so much. See how the solder is going in there? That's what we want. So I think we're fine there. Let's go back to this one. And the flux that we put on there helps tremendously. So we want to do a good job so that when we send this back to the customer, when we ship it back, We don't want any returns. We want the customer to be happy, of course. And we don't want to work double. Well, job well done. That should be good. Excuse me. So there's the port that's soldered on there. Not a lot of mess. But if we do make some mess, we can always clean it up with a little bit of alcohol and a Q-tip, which I will do after. So checking again, let's check the ports, make sure that the solder flow through and that it's strong, attached strongly. As you can see, this is exactly what I mean and exactly what I wanted. The flow in this, the solder in this particular HDMI is all the way in there, and that's what we want. We want a strong connection between these ports here. Okay. Same thing on the other side. Right here and right here. Now let's check the pins. We're going to zoom in. And check each individual pin. I'm just checking it, moving it to the side, make sure that it's soldered properly. And it looks good to me. Is that solder? Nice and shiny. Very little mess. So I'm going to go ahead and clean it up with a little bit of alcohol here in the Q-tip. But that's pretty much it, guys. We're going to go ahead and assemble this and test it. But I am pretty confident that it will work fine. Here, I found some Q-tips. I've had some consoles come back from other companies that, you know, they say they fixed them, and not to talk bad about anybody, but they leave a complete mess in there. There's no need for over flux or over solder. So flux is good. That you definitely need it, but you don't need that much. So there we go. Like new. Guys, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you like this video. I will continue to post more educational videos. Hopefully something can pick up, someone or somebody can pick up something good from here, and it'll help you guys do what you want to do, or solder your own HDMI port. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks again. Bye-bye.